very warm welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining, everyone. Again, so good shares, some stuff coming out of there. Hope that's valuable for everyone. So we're going to just have a look at today's lesson. Today's email, the quote, short teaching. We'll go into the workbook lesson from there, and then we'll do the sixth pathway to higher awareness, and a little meditation on the lesson. That'll be the session today. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen.
Is there any chance, Jono, because I've got to leave at 2 o'clock today, any chance we could do the lesson first?
Yeah, we're gonna get there. There's a little, we're gonna get there quickly because it's very short. It's just a paragraph or two, and then we'll go into the lesson. So if you want to read the quote for us.
Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Brené Brown.
Oh, nice, very nice quote. So it's about, practicing this art of letting go. The practice of letting go. That's what you're learning. So we can let go of the the false egoic self that society tries to tell us is who we are, and discover who we truly are. It's a great quote, just pointing us to the, exactly the truth, exactly what we're doing in this course. In fact, you could make it the headline quote for the whole course, really. It's about becoming the authentic self through the practice of letting go and embracing who we really are, which is self-love, learning that we are love, that love is all there really is. So there's some another breath watching with body scanning. So another breathwork technique based on breath watching we've done, and then body scanning is based on Vipassana. So we might do some of that in the meditation. Yeah, no problem, man. We've moved out of the sharing, so I don't want to go back there. But come on tomorrow and we'll do another share then. So it was very interesting. Sorry you got cut off. Okay, so yeah, there's some resources there. You can go listen to that in your own time. And as I said, if you stick around for the meditation, I will guide you through that. Just a little teaching on the parallels in both modern Western psychology and ancient Eastern spiritual traditions. So Bill Thetford called the course the Christian Vedanta in an interview, which I think I did send out at some point. Sent you a link to that interview. The Christian Vedanta, because it's stating what the this ancient wisdom of India stated, but in Christian format, using the Christian language, and it also has modern psychology woven in there, because remember he was giving this to psychologists who understood this terminology. So it's this quite amazing blend of ancient wisdom, ancient spiritual teachings, Christian in a Christian language, combined with Western psychological concepts like projection, perception, these kinds of things, which is quite a unique blend. Okay, so someone read the quote. Just summarizes some of what I've just said. Anyone like to read that? Susie, Elaine?
The curriculum the course proposes is carefully conceived and is explained step by step at both the theoretical and practical levels. It emphasizes application rather than theory and experience rather than theology. It specifically states that a universal theology is impossible, but a universal experience is not only possible but necessary. Manual, page 77. Although Christian in statement, the course deals with universal spiritual themes. It emphasizes it is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end.
Okay, so any thoughts on that?
I guess it's all to do with experience, isn't it?
It's about experience that this leads you to. So theology is impossible. We're never going to agree on the theological level. You know, all the different religions say slightly different things. But in the end, it comes down to a universal experience. And that's the what it's being directed to. So you have an experience of this presence we call God, the formless awareness of perfect love. And when you have an experience, then you know the truth. You know, it's not something you believe. It's not conceptual knowledge. It's something you know in your own experience. And he's saying that's the only way. That's what's necessary. It's not only possible, but necessary, because that experience is what's going to awaken you from the dream. But he does say, although Christian in statement, course deals with universal spiritual themes. Okay, so these are the universal themes in every spiritual teaching, every religion. They deal with these themes that we're talking about. There's one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end. Okay, so he's not saying this is the only path there, but he's saying, look, this is a way that I'm giving you, and it's a quick way. It's a very direct way. He's not intending that we waste any time, because he knows the way to walk to himself. He's saying, well, this is the way I used, and this is the quickest way. And we know it's effective because he got out. He did escape the matrix. He demonstrated that in his life, his teaching, and finally in his resurrection. So he's a good role model. You know, he's a good way shower. You go, okay, well, he's done it. There's clear evidence of that in my mind. There's a lot of credibility in the teacher. So yeah, I'll listen to him. I'll put my faith in this teacher rather than other teachers. If there's a contradiction, then I'm going to listen to my teacher. So you know, this is saying there are many ways, but he's also saying, well, commit to this way, because whichever way you go, they all lead to God in the end. You know, the end result's the same. So there's nothing different in this path. It leads to God. But this is a quick, direct way. And if it works for you and resonates, then, you know, commit to this path. Ken Wapnick, you know, he was a great course teacher. His teaching on it was, yeah, it's fine. Go look at the other paths, and, you know, you can shop around and see what works for you. And we've all done that sort of exploration. And but then if you find you come to A Course in Miracles and it just resonates and it works for you, then stick to it. That's your path. You don't need to look outside that, because it's got the whole teaching. It's got everything. It'll take you to the end result of unifying your mind with God. So and all of the paths do the same thing. This is just your selected way, and it's going to save you time if you focus on it. If you don't get distracted, it'll save you a lot of time. And that's his promise. I'll save you a lot of time, potentially lifetimes, thousands of years, through this process that I'm going to guide you through of you know, training your mind systematically and progressively in another way of thinking. Okay, so any thoughts on that, comments, questions? Otherwise, we'll go into the lesson. There's another recording there for you if you want to listen to that. So it's on the 12 pathways. We go through each one of them there, but we're doing this. We're splitting it up and doing it one at a time. So, who wants to read the lesson? So, who hasn't read? Elaine, if you can read the key idea of the lesson for us, and paragraph 1.
Which one? Which one?
I've given everything I see.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I have given everything I see in this room or place all the meaning that it has for me.
Okay, and then the ways suggesting we practice it, just some instructions there. Do you want to read that paragraph 1?
The exercises with this idea are the same as those for the first one. Begin with things that are near you and apply the idea to whatever your glance rests on. Then increase the range outward. Turn your head so that you include whatever is on either side. If possible, turn around and apply the idea to what was behind you. Remain as indiscriminate as possible in selecting subjects for its application. Do not concentrate on anything in particular, and do not attempt to include everything you see in a given area, or you will introduce strain.
Yeah, so it's giving us some instructions. The reason we'll just read these is because this is how we're going to practice the next several lessons. It's just indiscriminate. You look at whatever, apply the idea to whatever you happen to see without selection. So you don't go, oh, I'm going to apply that to that, but not that. Whatever your eyes happen to rest on. So the idea is he's trying to say to you, well, it applies to everything equally, whether it's seemingly a person, a body or a button, a fly or a floor, an arm or an apple. Try to apply the exercise with equal ease to all of it. So you learn not to make exceptions. You learn that it's applicable to everything you see. That's the key idea behind this lesson and the others. In these first sort of dozen lessons, it's this kind of methodology that he's using. It's actually really easy. You don't have to make any effort. You just look at whatever you think the idea, and then you move on. And it may not seem like you're doing much, but you actually are profoundly changing your mind in that process. So the only criteria for applying the idea to anything is merely that your eyes have lighted on it. Make no attempt to include anything particular, but be sure that nothing is specifically excluded. So just a random glance around the room, whatever you happen to see, you apply it. You do that for a minute or two, and you're done. Very, very simple, straightforward, but you're starting with baby steps. This is the baby steps that we need to take. And actually, Elaine, you had some like a cartoon thing. So if you post that every day on the group, I think that might be helpful. Would everyone like that? Some kind of accompaniment to so once I post it in the morning,
Right.
I'll post my version of the lesson, this, and then you can post that if you like it too.
The illustrations, yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
that.
It might just
If everybody wants that, yeah.
do that. Yeah. So you can post.
Okay.
I think yesterday's was
Today's
lesson
2.
Post it
Yeah.
again, today.
Okay.
Just as a reminder, after the call, it's like, okay, well, it comes in. I actually do it in the afternoon because then there's a reminder to practice again. It comes in on the group.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
People.
no problem.
Because we are being asked to do it twice. So sort of mid to late afternoon or early evening after the afternoon call, maybe. That would be great. Okay, and so he's just saying don't select, glance easily and fairly quickly around you, try to avoid selection by size, brightness, color, material, or relative importance to you. Okay? So none of those things really matter. Just as you see whatever it is, you apply the idea. So he's trying to train you here to transfer this thought system and the idea to whatever it is that you see. It's the beginning of the transfer of training you talked about. That's the methodology. So very simple exercise. You just apply the idea to whatever it is you see, and then you move on. So any questions about that? Anyone find that exercise difficult? Anything coming up for you when you did it?
Yeah. It's not seeing particularly with my eyes, but in my mind's eye, seeing my teeth as wrong. I've got this wobbly tooth, and I see that the meaning I'm putting on it is that I've done something wrong or I'm missing something.
Mm.
But that's my meaning. It's not.
Well, it's a great lesson. Isn't it? Like, given everything I see, all the meaning that it has for me. Wow. It's profound. All the meaning it has for me is I've put on it. I've given it the meaning. So if that meaning's not true, the meaning's false, then my entire life is based on false meaning. That's what he's pointing out here. It's a self-created meaning based on a false self concept. I've now given the world the meaning that it has based on that false self concept. And so I live in an illusion. I'm living in a false meaning. I'm giving things meaning that don't really have meaning. The implications are huge, aren't they? Just from this one lesson. So the beauty of this, it's holographic. Each lesson would take you to enlightenment. If you fully understood this and lived it, you're enlightened. Absolutely agree, says Eleanor, part of my experience. So we are meaning making, our minds are meaning making machines. We make meaning all the time. We interpret and we give the sensory data coming in, we give that a meaning and we interpret it. And that meaning becomes our reality, right? So we live in our own self-created reality, which is what perception is. Based on our beliefs. But those beliefs are unconscious. So we don't actually know that we're giving it the meaning. We think that the meaning is what it is. we see, oh, okay, the meaning I'm giving it is the meaning it has, and we misinterpret all the time. We see things that aren't really there, and because we've put our own meaning onto them. Happens all the time. Someone said the other day, oh, you left onions on the floor. I'm like, I didn't use any onions. There was no onions in the ingredients of the salad, so that's impossible. But do you see how we project? Because she was going, oh, well, my dogs could have eaten, fear. Fear means you'll see what you want to see. Oh, she saw a threat when there wasn't a threat. Because the mind has interpreted whatever the sensory data was on the floor in a certain way and misinterpreted it. Fear makes you misinterpret all the time. And you see things that aren't really there. So this is what he's saying. You don't really see with the physical eyes. That's the eyes are the mechanism of the data coming in. Let's use computer notes. It's like you're getting all this data, and then this has to be interpreted. It goes, it forms a picture in the brain, and all of your senses form this incoming data, and then we have to perceive it. We have to interpret it in a certain way, and that interpretation mechanism is normally the ego. That's a filter with all kinds of beliefs about yourself and the world that are built into that interpretation mechanism. And he's saying that's all false. You've given it your own meaning. Given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. So it's my own self-created world. I live in my own reality, created by my own beliefs, and I keep perceiving that that's correct because my beliefs show me that, until I start questioning them, doing this kind of mind training, saying, well, maybe that's not the case. Maybe I've just given everything the meaning that it seems to have for me. Maybe that meaning's not true. You see, this opens the way for saying, well, maybe it's not true. Maybe it actually doesn't have that meaning. I've just given it the meaning. Well, what if I give it a different meaning? What then? What will happen then? Well, that's exactly what he's suggesting we do. Try giving it a different meaning. And to give it a different meaning, you have to let go of your existing meaning. You see, you can't superimpose a different opposite meaning on the top of the existing meaning. You have to let go in order to open the space in your mind for true meaning to come through. Which is why this is all about letting go or forgiveness. Because then the true meaning can shine through. And he's saying you don't have to create that meaning. That meaning will be revealed to you. The meaning's already there. But it will be revealed to you. when you let go of your existing meaning. So rather than trying to create another story on top of the old story, we talked about personal growth the other day. Okay, create a better story, but it's just another false meaning I'm superimposing on the existing one. Actually saying, clean it away, let go of all the meaning you've given everything, and open your mind to the truth. The true meaning will reveal itself if you do that. So in the emptiness, you open your mind, you empty the vessel, you clean the slate. It's like your mind's a blank slate, and then the true meaning will be revealed, because the true meaning is in the blankness. It's in the emptiness. It's not in the form. It's what underlies the form that the true meaning is there. So that makes sense. You have to clean away the existing meaning. It's like if you have a canvas and there's all kinds of stuff painted on there, you want to reuse the canvas, start again, you have to clean that away. You'd have to take some kind of solvent and clean all the paint away and blank the canvas to start afresh, wouldn't you? Well, that's exactly what we're doing. Blanking the canvas and saying, okay, and then you can see the true meaning, because you're looking beyond the form. You've seen deeper than form. And then that meaning, the deeper meaning, that is pure formless awareness, shines through everything that your body's eyes and ears and senses still perceive. So that then becomes a new meaning. It's a pristine, pure, holy beauty shining through that's not corrupted. It doesn't have all of your stories projected onto it, and all of the meanings and interpretations that you've given the world. And so, Eleanor, for example, you're talking about those very shocking things that happen, and this kind of stuff goes on all the time in the world. But you've given it the meaning that it has for you, and you can reinterpret that, and you can let that go, and that same thing perceived correctly wouldn't disturb you, because you'd simply realize that it's not true, and it can't really cover over your own pure formless awareness of perfect love. It's not possible. Okay, so it's a little teaching on the lesson. Any thoughts on that? Comments, questions? Otherwise, maybe we'll just do a little practice on it. Correct, a miracle indeed. Yeah. So if you can start applying these lessons, those kinds of things don't need to distress you anymore. They keep happening in the world. The world's full of shocking horrors, but are they real for you? Do they have meaning for you? Do they affect you or not? Some people would say, well, how can you not be affected? Well, that's very easy. You don't put your focus there. Don't put your attention there. Don't make it real in your mind. And then it's not in your reality. And these things just start to fade away and disappear, because it doesn't add any value. You knowing about all these horrors, does that add any value to anyone? Does it help anyone? Does it benefit you? Does it benefit the world? No. It doesn't at all. So there's no value in knowing about these things. They're just the illusions of the ego trying to convince you that its thought system is correct. And you have to deny it. Yeah, very toxic. Destructive. They're life destructive. They destroy your peace of mind, your happiness. If you're in that kind of negative state, you can't really be helpful to others or yourself or the world. So let it go, and be open to the correction. And don't focus there. So I'd advise, don't watch the news. Let all that stuff go, because it's not giving you anything of value. It's telling you illusions. So yeah, any thoughts, comments, questions on any of this? Okay, so let's go into some practice of it then, shall we? So we'll just do a little 10-minute meditation on it to practice the lesson. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable, putting yourself on mute. So sitting comfortably in your favorite meditation posture. Feet shoulder width apart, back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. We start off as usual with a deep power breath in through the nose. So you're breathing into the lower stomach, blowing the stomach up like a balloon. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in, draw the energy up the spine to your heart center. Connect with your heart center, put one hand on your heart if that helps you. Bring your attention into the present moment. And draw the energy all the way up into the crown of your head, pausing at the top of the inhale. The maximal inhale breath. So you're going to scan your mind and just notice any thoughts, any emotions, any related body sensations going on. And apply the idea to the inner world, right? The picture that you have of the world. Not seeing anything now with your eyes, but you say, I've given everything I see in my mind all the meaning that it has for me. And I'm wanting to release that. I'm wanting to let it go and be open to a new meaning. Say that to yourself, and then you're going to just exhale and let it go. You're willing to just empty your vessel, empty your mind, open your mind to the truth. Pull the low stomach into the spine, blow it all out. Letting it go, so you've cleaned your mind. Mind is open, empty for this exercise. So just gently open your eyes, and you're going to look around now. It's kind of an open-eyed meditation. So look around very casually. Whatever your eyes happen to rest on, just apply the idea. Just say, I've given this table all the meaning it has for me. If you're looking at a table, I've given this wall all the meaning that it has for me. I've given this body. You can look at your own body or another body, if another person's present. Given this body all the meaning that it has for me. I've given everything I see in this room all the meaning that it has for me. And then look around, look behind you, in front of you, to the side. Just glance around, apply the idea slowly to everything that you see. And name the object specifically, given this, whatever it is, all the meaning that it has for me. So make sure you're not selecting anything particularly or avoiding anything. Just whatever you happen to look at, you can apply the idea to. And as you do that, just notice how you're feeling. Keep breathing, nice, deep, slow rhythmical breaths and out through your nose. So you do this just to keep you in a nice, aware state. Notice how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, physically, maybe sensations arising. Notice all of that. And use the reactions. Whatever you're feeling, say, I've given this all the meaning that it has for me. So it applies to your thoughts and your emotions as well. Given everything I see, everything I perceive, everything I experience, all the meaning that it has for me. Let's let that kind of sit, that realization sit with you. Takes you into a stillness, a calmness, emptiness. And close your eyes again. And just sit in this wholly aware state for a couple of minutes. You're empty of all meaning. And what does that feel like? For the ego, that's terrifying, scary. But observe what you're feeling like now, and you'll see it's not really. It's very peaceful, actually. Experience peace when you stop all the meanings, the judgments that you've given the world. It's the only way you can experience peace. So meanings we give to things that cause us distress. And if you notice anything arising, any meanings of the old thought system, the ego coming back, just observe those again. Breathe into them and just say, I have given everything I perceive all the meaning that it has for me. Blow it out. It's the breeze of your breath, letting it go. Dropping that interpretation, letting it go. Finding the true meaning. And just rest here in this state of being empty, the fullness of the emptiness of the meaningless. Let go of all your own meaning, and true meaning reveals itself to you. So let that meaning reveal itself to you and your own experience. This is leading you to the universal experience Yeshua mentioned in that quote. Universal theology is impossible, but universal experience is not only possible, but necessary. And just sit in that empty, spacious awareness for a couple of minutes. Breathing in and out through your nose as you do that. Just being aware of whatever arises. Into the love and the peace and the joy that will show you, reveal to you the truth beyond your false meanings for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. And so just gently coming back. Deep state into awareness of the body and the breath, senses and the world. And count to 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Scan your mind again, notice any false meanings, any interpretation, any meanings you're giving anything. Breathe into those and let's be willing to release them, let them go. So I've given everything I see, everything I perceive, all the meaning that it has for me. Blow it all out. Exhale the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that really is. And count to 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground, noticing what you're feeling, touching, tasting, smelling. Remind yourself that I've given everything I perceive, all the meaning that it has for me. It's not just what you see, it's all of your sense perceptions. And so that brings you into a state of peace beyond the false meanings that you've given everything. So anchor that nice, calm, peaceful state in. And then on the count of 3, open your eyes. Let's look around for a minute. Apply the exercise one more time. So you look around casually, just apply the idea to anything you happen to see. I've given everything I see in this room all the meaning that it has for me. So I've given that table all the meaning it has for me, given that wall all the meaning it has for me, I've given that cup all the meaning it has for me. Do that for half a dozen objects. Very slowly, casually, feel the peaceful awareness that you had in this meditation. Still there, very much still there in your mind. And then one more time to end the meditation. Just say, I've given everything I see in this room all the meaning that it has for me. And sit with that, whatever the feeling is, for a few moments. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meditation. Thank you, everyone. So if you need to go now, that's fine. Sally, you said you need to leave at 2, so we'll carry on, just do some of the higher pathways. We're going to do the 6th pathway to higher awareness today, and just review the other 2, as we've had a couple of days break in it, and that will be the afternoon session. Okay, so welcome, John. See, Aura has been trying to get him, but she hasn't managed, sadly, so we just have to catch up recording. So we're at number 6 pathway today, which is about being here now. That's the final one of the 6 pathways. So maybe let's just do a review to see what the sixth pathway was. The precursors to it. So I always remember. Okay, no problem at all. I always remember that I have everything I need. Anyone want to read number 4? John, maybe?
Yeah. I always remember that I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now, unless I'm letting my consciousness be dominated by demands and expectations based on the dead past or the imagined future. I take full responsibility here and now for everything I experience, For it is my own programming that creates my actions and also influences the reactions of people around me. I accept I accept myself completely here and now and consciously experience everything I feel, think, say, and do, including my emotion-backed addictions, as a necessary part of my growth into higher awareness.
Yeah. So you can see how they kind of all work together. You know, these pathways are interlocking, aren't they? I always remember that I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now. Unless I'm letting my consciousness, and there we have the word consciousness, which I kept in because it's your consciousness that still believes in separation, be dominated by demands and expectations based on the dead past or the imagined future. And so do you see the methodology in the course? Yeshua's going for the meaning that we give these things. The demands and the expectations based on the dead past or the imagined future are the meaning that we give things, the meaning that we superimpose on every situation that arises. And these early lessons are about cleaning that meaning away and saying, well, actually, let's create some space instead of carrying on in the same way, creating these false meanings. He has to help us to let go of the meaning that we've given these things. And that's what these early lessons are designed to do. It's like, cleaning out the closet, cleaning out the clutter in your mind and creating space for a new meaning to come and to be written upon these situations. And that meaning is the meaning of the Holy Spirit, which really just says that, all form is meaningless. It doesn't really mean anything. What's truly meaningful is formless, and that's always there. So stay rooted in that awareness of the pure formless awareness. It's always there. And then the true meaning of everything you experience is always going to be there. That meaning shines through all of the temporary experiences we have in this world. Does that make sense to everyone?
I think so.
Good. I take full responsibility here and now, to the only time we can, for everything I experience, because it's my own programming. Saying it's your own programming, your own belief system that creates my interpretation of the world. I perceive the world in a certain way, and that creates my perceptions, and then my actions follow. It also influences the reactions of people around me. Right? So also in this integral model, which is a little bit further down the line. Let's just go. Not an integral model. I wanted the diagram. Levels of mind. Shown in the levels of mind diagram. So my own programming, my beliefs, which create my thoughts, my emotions. These are my emotion-backed addictions, my desires, my expectations based on false beliefs. Then lead to my perceptions, and I behave according to the way I perceive. As I perceive, so shall I behave. That's the rule of behavior she teaches us. So I perceive something to be real, and I give it a meaning, and then I interpret it in a certain way, and I behave in a certain way accordingly. So all this stuff is the programming. And he's in right up front in these early lessons, he's asking us to question and saying, well, I've given everything I see with my eyes on the perceptual level all the meaning that it has for me. Who's the me then? That's the question. Well, it's a little self, a false self concept that has certain beliefs, and then certain thoughts, and then certain emotions, all a consequence of the beliefs that underpin all of my perceptions. So immediately starting to uncover these layers in these early lessons and get us to strip them away and let go of the false beliefs that we have superimposed on the world through this mechanism of belief, thought, emotion, and then perception, which has been happening by default. We don't know that that's been actually happening, but he's asking us to become aware of that. Okay, so does those first two pathways make sense? Which now opens us nicely to the third pathway of this particular section. Being here now, which is all about connecting with the now, being present, and they systematically interlock. Particularly helpful, pathways 4 to 6, particularly helpful in learning to live in the eternal now moment. All the pathways reprogram you to tune into the nowness of your life. Okay, sixth pathway. Anyone else like to read? Let's ask Susie or Elaine.
Okay. I accept,
Yeah, if you can read that. Thanks, Susie.
I accept myself completely here and now and consciously experience everything I feel, think, say, and do, including my emotion-backed addictions, as a necessary part of my growth into higher awareness.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
It's true that emotion-backed addictions, that's what I'm facing.
Because all addictions have that that emotional quality, don't they?
Mm.
I'm just going to open this instrument for peace so we can have it on another tab. Don't have to keep. There we go. So addiction, I need that, I want that. You know, addiction, attachment, there's emotion. Underlying that is thought, underlying that is belief. The core of every ego is the belief that I'm not enough as I am, so I need more. And then we seek to get more in our addictive patterns of behavior. So at the core of it, there's a false self-concept that I am not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm somehow deficient, lacking. And so what can we then expect except, the perceptions that mirror that and a world that mirrors that shows us that that's true. And this is a beautiful lesson. It's a necessary part of my growth into higher awareness. Okay, so confronting my emotion-backed addictions, becoming aware of them, is a necessary part of the journey. It has to be done. So when your emotion-backed addictions come up, you know it's an addiction when it causes pain. That's if you remember in the early pathways, difference between a preference and an addiction is a preference you're not really bothered about, you're indifferent to. But an addiction causes you pain when you don't get what you think you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how, and so yeah, there's a degree of pain, emotional pain, discomfort arises as you face that, but this is necessary in order to undo it. You must face the discomfort and then question it using a lesson like today. And these lessons are designed to say, well, I've given everything that I see, all the meaning that it has for me. So I see whatever it is I'm addicted to. Let's just use some food, chocolate or sweets, whatever. I see it, but I realize that I've given it all the meaning it has for me. I used to eat this just to feel comfortable, to feel like, okay, I'm okay, comfort, but I've given it the meaning that it has for me. So it doesn't really have that meaning. It's a self-created meaning. You go through that exercise with anything, it changes your perception of it. You go, okay, well, do I really need to eat the chocolate then, or the cheese, or whatever it is? Because actually that meaning isn't true. So I can refrain from that and just be in a deeper awareness. That's okay. I'm okay as I am in that awareness. So this is the way you undo these emotion-backed addictions. You question the meaning they have, which means you have to go through the layers. So through emotion, you have to look at thoughts. Well, that's what he's addressing here, the level of thought, isn't it? I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. It's thought. And thoughts are just beliefs. So you'll start hitting core beliefs if you dig deep enough. And so it's a process of self-inquiry through these lessons, asking us to go deeper into the mind to see the underlying causes of our perceptions that are seemingly hurting us. And when we can get to the cause, we can see the falsity of it, then we can truly let it go. Okay, next paragraph. Let's move on. Elaine, if you can read that. The living love way to higher awareness.
The living love way to high awareness is based on the instant emotional acceptance here and now of that which you previously regarded as unacceptable in your life. Acceptance simply means that you won't cause yourself additional conflict because of your current perceptions. Emotional acceptance.
That was emotional conflict. Sorry, my cursor was over.
Right. Cause yourself emotional conflict because of your current perceptions. Emotional acceptance doesn't mean that you have to continue living the rest of your life with any particular person or situation. But then there's sometimes duty, isn't there?
Well, duty to what? You've got to ask. You know, if something's not serving you, is it a duty to continue doing that if it doesn't really serve you? So
Well,
it can help you to help you to free yourself from situations that don't serve you, or to reinterpret. You know, if you're in a situation and there's some conflict and stress, maybe you reinterpret it and you find a way to be like, okay, I'm okay with that. I can accept it now. It's not pushing my buttons anymore.
yeah, I think it's just accepting duty is the wrong word. Actually, that was a bit clinical. Like, say, you know, if you've got an elderly parent or a spouse, you want to care for them, but sometimes it can be very emotionally draining. But you're not going to leave them.
So that's your choice then. Okay, you're not going to leave them. Then the answer is, okay, well, I need to correct my mind. You know,
Yeah,
I need
that's
to find a way to accept the difficult, the challenging, the seemingly unacceptable. I need to find a way to accept it.
That's
and
the
then
one.
I choose to remain, but then I can remain in that situation in relative peace.
Yeah,
I'm not judging it, resisting it, going, why is this happening to me? And superimposing all of my own beliefs onto the situation to create uncomfortable emotions for myself. I'm not doing that anymore. The state of acceptance means that there's no resistance to the situation. So there's acceptance actually means that I've let go of my meaning, my interpretation of the situation, and I've come to a state of, okay, I just am, I'm okay, I'm at peace. So that's what it actually means. It means that there's a degree of letting go that's taken place, which is kind of paradoxical. You go, well, doesn't acceptance mean you accept the situation as it is? No. It means you've let go of your misperceptions of the situation. So there's you're able to then accept the deeper truth. Acceptance means you accept the underlying truth that actually it's still okay. Underneath this, there is still this pure formless awareness of perfect love, and you've accepted that interpretation of the situation, the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the situation instead of your own. That's what it really means. Because people are, well, I accept the situation. How can I accept the unacceptable? Well, you can only do that by letting go of your interpretation of that situation. You see, the meaning that you've given to it, which is exactly what this course is helping us to do. Let go of the interpretation of the situation, the meaning you've given it, and then what's left is your own true awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love arising. And then there's a base level of acceptance. So Eckhart Tolle talks about 3 levels of conscious action. first level is acceptance. If you're not accepting, then you're in resistance, which is an turbulated state. Your peace is going to be disturbed if you're in resistance, because you're like, oh, I don't want that to be, and I'm feeling that resistance internally. Okay? So acceptance gets beyond that. It's base level. You may not actively enjoy it. Let's say your husband's kicking you off, it's difficult. You may not go, oh wow, this is amazing, I'm really enjoying it, but you're at a level of calm and peace. You accept it without superimposing all of your beliefs on it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of base level of conscious action. Then you could be kind, you could be loving, compassionate, empathetic in the situation, because you don't have all these disturbing emotions coming up and wanting to then express out to him, you see?
Yeah.
So that's kind of foundational level, which this letting go will get you to.
Yeah.
And then there might be some experiences that you can actually experience joy. So you say you like going for a walk, getting fresh air. You go out and you're like, oh, this is really, it's like just a more vibrantly alive level of acceptance, maybe. Vibrantly alive peace, Eckhart Tolle calls it. Joy is vibrantly alive peace. It's like, oh, okay. So it just feels a little bit, more satisfying, fulfilling, something else, just another experience that's good, that's on the layer of acceptance. I'm not out of acceptance, I'm actually loving it. I'm accepting the moment, I'm in the now, but I'm really there's a experience of joy in the moment. And so that can happen, and that's what we call a flow state, which is very nice. Nothing else you need to do but enjoy that. And then the highest level of joy, and there's a little goal, which doesn't take me out of the now because I'm enjoying the moment. But okay, I'd like to do something with this, go somewhere. So that might be, in your case, Elaine, you'd like to start giving some talks or spreading this information, becoming more of a teacher of the stuff you do, and then you go, oh, that feels really energizing. That's inspiring. It doesn't take me out of the now. It's like, analogy would be you're walking on a mountain, beautiful scenery, and there's a top. There's a journey up a couple of kilometers you got to go to get to the top, and you're enjoying the process of walking and climbing. And when you get to the top, there's a little like, oh, that view's going to be amazing. I know. So there's a little extra sort of excitement that comes in, and provided that doesn't take you out of the now, and you go, oh, I'm just doing this to get to the top, because that's not what it's about. You actually enjoy the moment, and you get to the top, and it's like, oh, wow, that's just amazing, and the enthusiasm was an added kind of bonus on the way. You don't actually need enthusiasm; you can do it in joy. But if you have a little goal, it's the only way to consciously approach that, and not get sucked into future orientation. You're present, but there's a little, just something that's bubbling, a little bit, maybe more excitement, because it's like, I feel inspired. This is a worthwhile direction I'm taking. It's the kind of the end destination is quite exciting, and I'm enjoying the journey. So if you can get into a state of enthusiasm, that's inspiration. They mean the same thing in the spirit. That's the Latin. The enthusiasm comes from the Greek entheos, which means God in you. That means this divine spirit, divine energy in you, now expressing through you. And enthusiasm is the kind of highest state. It's joy on steroids. It's
which is the goal of the course, isn't it? This is the goal of the course, being in that eternal joy now.
Yeah, being in that state
every day. Nice.
Yeah, all day, every day, being in that
Nice.
inspired state, being in joy. But like at the base level, if that's not possible, then just accept. Like, okay, I'm not resisting, so I just do it. Let's say, I'll give you an example of something that happened for me a few years ago. I was driving down to another city. It's about a 6-hour drive from where I was, and it was quite late at night. It was like 10 o'clock, almost 10, and I needed to be there because my sister, I was going to see my sister, was your Latin Russian. I was a Latin teacher. Okay, Christine.
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, I remember you were saying yes. Interesting.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so that I broke down, and initially there was a resistance. It's like, oh, how can this happen? Why is this happening? Oh, my sister's gonna freak out because I'm gonna be late. All of this. And if I'd stayed there, it wouldn't have gone very well. But very quickly it was like, okay, hang on, you need to just do a little correction here. Let it go. Accept it. It is what it is, right? Resisting it isn't gonna suddenly inflate the tire. I have to do something about it. So I just got in the moment. I accepted it, and I did what was necessary. I unpacked the boots, got the spare tire out, changed the tire, did it in about 20-25 minutes. And when I carried on, I was like, oh, actually, I quite enjoyed that in hindsight. But I was just very present when I did it. I was just in the acceptance. I called my sister or my parents to let them know, okay, this is what's happened. This is what it, and then I just got busy and I did it. And it was okay. I was like, okay, that was actually quite a good lesson, because I learned something from it. I never changed the tire on my own. So I was like, okay, I can actually do that. It's good. And there was an emotional lesson. Like, okay, I can actually deal with this. Just don't freak out, don't resist. Get in the moment and just do it, and you can do it. Now I'm using that experience. It was a session, so it's all perfect in its apparent imperfection. It teaches us something, helps us to learn something on a deeper level. Okay, so let's go to the next paragraph. To grow in the living love way. Christine, why don't you read that for us kindly?
To grow in the living love way, you do not have to drill yourself and criticize yourself with military precision. Just experience everything in an accepting, relaxed, and aware way, and realize that every one of your experiences is perfect for your here and now growth into higher awareness. Your addictions will gradually fade away when you use the living love pathways to consciously interpret all your experiences.
Okay, so thoughts on that? Living love way is this way that he's giving us with applying these 12 pathways to your life. And this is interesting because is Susie's salon. Yeah, you were talking about, you don't have to drill yourself and criticize yourself with military precision. Oh, I'm getting it wrong. You messed up again. The drill sergeant I talked about the other day, being the ego. Are you failing? You're never going to live up to it. Shape up. This kind of self-talk isn't helpful at all. Just experience everything in an accepting, relaxed, and aware way. Okay, so I'm aware of it. Stuff arises. There's a resistance. I see it, and then I can apply a lesson to it. Say, well, I've just given this all the meaning that it has for me. And realize that every one of your experiences is perfect for your here and now growth into higher awareness. And it's all perfect in its apparent imperfection because it's giving you a lesson. It's the mirror of your mind, of your belief system, showing you what it is you believe and then helping you to correct it. So that's what's necessary. That's how the correction process works. Your addictions will gradually fade away. So all these addictions are just expectations that you're very attached to. These expectations, addictions will gradually fade away when you use the living love pathways to consciously interpret all your experiences. So you apply this awareness, you bring yourself into higher awareness, and you look at everything from that perspective. Then those addictions can't maintain. They have to start fading away because you're questioning the underpinnings of them. See, See what Yeshua's doing? It's an inquiry. He's saying, don't just get stuck on the level of perception and the emotions driving it. Go look at the thoughts and the beliefs behind them, and correct them by saying, well, actually, I've given everything I see, perceive, all the meaning that it has for me. So you can actually generalize these lessons to perception. It's to everything. You use a sight to start with because it's the easiest sense. We can just engage with this visual sense very easily by looking around. But it actually applies to everything, your entire perception. And be corrected by cleaning out the meaning that underlies it. That's what this process is. The miracle happens when you go deeper, you inquire, you let go of the false emotions, thoughts, and beliefs that cover over the truth, that really this is the decision. You decided to be a separate self and then created a belief system and thoughts and emotions and perceptions to support that decision. And now you can decide again, to use the Latin again, Christine, decadere, cut away. You cut away the alternative choice, the false choice, and then what's left is the truth. And that's the miracle that then has come in and transformed your belief and your thoughts and your emotion and your perception, which is the top level, must change if all of those things have changed. It's a ripple effect. Then you cannot perceive it in the same way as you did before with the other belief system. Your perception will have changed. That's the transformation of mind. That is the miracle that he's training us to experience, to be able to do this systematically. He's saying there's a system, there's a way of getting to the miracle. Miracles don't just happen spontaneously. They can sometimes, but you can train your mind. You can actually consciously orchestrate these through this process of letting go. Leads to the transformation of perception, of belief, thought, emotion, and perception, and of behavior, because perception influences our behavior, doesn't it? As we see in the integral model. Go diving in here. Where's it? So thoughts, emotions, perceptions, all of that influences the objective world. The behavior, how we behave, is Yeshua says at some point you behave as you perceive. However you perceive, that's what is going to direct your behavior, which then feeds back into it's a self-reinforcing mechanism. You then think that those perceptions are correct because you get results that show you they're true. Okay, so let's go back to the sixth pathway, just one more. So, Christine, any comments, questions, thoughts on that paragraph?
Yeah, it's very helpful to know that the addictions will start surfacing, and as we are aware of what we're attached to, they will gradually fade away as we let go. I mean, I was thinking of the fall and how addicted I am to the drama around falling and getting sympathy. And look what happened to me. But now I've got a house full of kids. My daughter's working in a room away at her work. And I've got my 3 grandchildren here and the little girl from next door all doing their homework and colouring in the lounge. And not one of them know that I'm struggling to walk.
Because you didn't tell them. That's good.
I've changed it already.
Yeah.
Pain is just about gone with all the ice packs. So it's a miracle, really. My attitude changed.
It's great. So you see, I mean, that fall was useful because then you got to confront the addictive programming around the falling and all the sympathy and the emotional drama of it. You got to confront it and make a different choice and say, okay, I don't have to do the same pattern again. And, make it a sympathy party for Christine, and the old wounded victim self goes, oh, this is nice. I'm getting sympathy. Okay, well, maybe you should fall again and next time break something, because then you'll get even more sympathy. You see how it works. But you've corrected that. So you don't need to do it again. You don't need to fall again because it doesn't serve you. You don't need the emotional drama. You don't need the sympathy. Why do you need sympathy if you have direct connection with your source, which gives you pure formless awareness of perfect love? Why would you need sympathy? It's a shabby substitute for that divine love, isn't it?
Yes, that feeling of self-love, I'm fine just as I am.
Yeah.
Just a passing phase. I'm strong, I'm resilient, I heal quickly.
Mm.
I am love. And
Yeah.
giving out love is more important than anything else.
So I don't need anything else.
No. Especially when I'm so humbled by watching how a blind tenant deals with life. I mean, it's just mind-shattering to realize how we create our worlds and we think ours is the only world.
Oh,
It's wow.
a great a demonstration of these principles.
Yes.
Oh, and you're
And
getting it
awareness
demonstrated to
around
you.
all. Okay, the last little bit. Don't try to push or force the river, but rather consciously experience the river of life with the vantage point of the 12 pathways.
Yeah, so just consciously experience it. You're doing it from a place of higher awareness, not forcing. Don't try to push or force. Power versus force, David Hawkins. Force is of the ego. I'm trying to force. I'm trying to control. It doesn't really work. Creates lots of lots of resistance, lots of conflict. Just consciously experience this river of life. It's a flow of experiences. It's always shifting, always changing. The water's always flowing. From the vantage point of the 12 pathways, which is your higher awareness. The 12 pathways bring you into a state of higher awareness that can observe all of this. Okay, so I'm going along on the river and it's a bit rocky here, a bit of a rapid there, but it's okay because I'm in my higher awareness. I don't have to get sucked into the drama of it. I don't have to go under the water and drown or hit myself on a rock or any of that stuff. I can just stay in my higher awareness and I can flow along. The idea of flow. I'm just the river of life flowing. The river's flowing through me. I'm one with everyone. I'm not separate. I'm a drop in the river, so I'm not separate from anyone else. We're all flowing to the ocean, which is the ultimate source. And there's all kinds of obstacles that come in the river's way, but it doesn't get stuck on them. It just flows around them, doesn't it? The rocks finds a way to get home, back to the ocean. It's a nice analogy. So imagine a drop that's like, oh my God, here's a rock. Oh my God, freak out. Oh, rock. Oh God. Oh, that really hurt. Oh, now we got a waterfall. Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh. That's kind of what we're doing in our lives, isn't it? It's terrible. But actually, no drama. It's just a journey. And actually, it's taking you back to the source. But a bumpy ride. Oh, hit a rock. Oh, I went on a 10-meter drop over a waterfall. Bang, hit a rock. Oh, it's okay. Carry on. I'm resilient.
And it passes.
Sorry, what did you say?
And it passes. It doesn't stay forever.
Yeah. Because that's the nature of this world. Everything's temporary. Everything passes away. It arises, and then it passes away. And you observe that flow of life from the perspective of higher awareness, which is permanent, which is eternal, which doesn't fade away, then none of it really matters too much. It's just a passing dream. It's a movie that you're watching that's unfolding, and you can do it from the observer state of being, quite peaceful about it all. You're observing your life unfolding. Things arise, they pass away. This is how it goes. And no attachment to any of it. You just flow forward. And every moment you're guided. So, okay, I need to flow here around a rock. It's okay, I can do that. All I have to do is be in the moment and tap into this awareness. It's going to guide me in my journey.
Now, these pathways, are they for the whole course, or are there new pathways all the way through?
Well, it's a tool you can use. You know, these 12 pathways. We're going to do them in the course, and they're there as tools for you, as resources. On the ongoing basis, if you're going to stay with a one-year program, we'll refer to them from time to time, maybe. But we're going to be focusing on actually, you know, the practice of these. I mean, these are brilliant. But what I would say is there's no practice of how you actually do this. So it's giving you the pathways, great, the theory's there, all good. But it, you know, it comes down to the practice of actually doing this in your daily life. And that's what the workbook is designed to do, to actually apply these ideas and to do the transformations of your perception moment by moment. So if you apply the course teachings and you letting go, then all of this will happen. So actually, the one key thing behind all this is letting go. You need to let go in order to activate all 12 pathways.
And then we just become more and more familiar with the 12 pathways.
Yeah, well, you start living them. You just start doing it by default. And then you might check in every night. Oh, okay, actually, I'm doing that. I'm taking full responsibility here and now for everything I experience because I'm aware and I'm able to correct if I need to. Okay, so I'm living it. It becomes your default program. You know, you're living this way, and the mind training that the course is giving us, the Course in Miracles is giving us, will help you to do that. It'll help you to live these 12 pathways. Because all very well, give the 12 pathways. How many people who have read this and studied it would actually go and apply it every day? Probably not that many. I'm not sure. You know, if he gave a methodology, maybe he taught meditation. I haven't gone deeper into the teachings. It's like, okay, so all very well, the theory's there, great. This is what we should be doing, living the 12 pathways. How do you actually do that? In the moment, when you are challenged, you have something arising, like you had this morning, a fall, and then, you know, the emotional drama that the ego is tempting you into. How do you deal with that consciously? Okay, well, you know, that's where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? In that situation. And the answer is you let go. Letting go activates all 12 pathways. You let go of your existing belief system, your existing interpretation of the situation, and all the emotions that go with that and the thoughts. And you go, okay, there's arising, but I don't have to believe these. There's another awareness that's there that's saying, no, Christine, this isn't correct. Let it go. So you don't have to think those thoughts. You don't have to feel those emotions, and you don't have to carry on the behavior patterns that went with them because of that. So yeah, the art of letting go will sort out all 12 pathways. You'll live these. It's giving you a picture of, you know, how life could be in an enlightened state. This is, you live all these pathways by default, automatically. You don't even, it's not conscious anymore. It's an operating system that's just happening in the background of your life that then informs all of your thoughts, emotions, and perceptions and actions, which is very powerful.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
No, it's only a pleasure. So it's there as a reference. It's there as a support for the other teachings. You know, you start to see that really what A Course in Miracles is saying. It's a universal teaching. It's a universal. This is saying exactly really what the Course is saying, just coming from a different angle, using different language, but really exactly the same message, exactly the same teaching. And if you apply the 12 pathways, you would be living in a miracle-minded way. You would be applying A Course in Miracles. So it's all leading to the same destination. Okay, so those are the 12 pathways. Let's just review these quickly. Review the last 6. So Christine, if you can do the review for us, read 4, 5, and 6 for us to close out the session.
I always remember that I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now, unless I am letting my consciousness be dominated by demands and expectations based on the past, the dead past, or the imagined future. I take full responsibility here and now for everything I experience, for it is my own programming that creates my actions and also influences the reactions of people around me. And I accept myself completely here and now and consciously experience everything I feel, think, and say and do, including my emotion-backed addictions, as a necessary part of my growth into higher awareness.
There you go. And that's exactly what you did today. Consciously experienced the fall, but from a place beyond your emotion-backed addictions. And this is all necessary. It's a necessary part of your growth. So the fall was useful because it showed you a program that needed to be corrected. That's the reinterpretation.
I take full responsibility here and now for everything I experience. That's just enjoying life in all its multifaceted way of coming at us.
No. I can always at the base level, as I said, I can always accept. Even if something's really challenging, I can always accept, say, okay, this is happening for me. This is a lesson. Let me let it go. Let me come into a state of awareness where I say, okay, what's the lesson? Okay, the lesson is I need to let go of the emotional programming. It's arising very strongly. It seems to be difficult, but I can let this go and I can bring myself into that base state of acceptance, and I'm okay with it. From there, I can ask for guidance. The guidance of the Holy Spirit will come through in that state of awareness, and I can handle whatever life throws at me from that, higher state of awareness. So these are very, very powerful. Change your life. You apply these, you'll experience everything differently. And what's life changing? Your life is an experience, isn't it? Everything's experience. So if it changes your experience of life moment by moment, it's life changing. So this kind of change, the fundamental change of mind, is the only thing that's worthy of the name, life changing. So when you fundamentally are changing your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and your perceptions and your experience of life, that's what is worthy of the name life changing. Everything else is superficial by comparison and doesn't really deserve it's not life changing to go, oh well, I'll get another attachment, I'll go for an ego goal and I'll get attached to that and I'll go pursue that, because nothing's really changed. You haven't actually changed your programming at all. It's just a bigger version of the program. Okay, so any comments, questions, thoughts anyone wants to share on any of that?
Well done, Christine, with dealing with that situation of falling.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. It's not easy, but you've handled it according to the teachings. So it's all perfect in its imperfection. It's a lesson, and you probably don't need to repeat it. You don't need to fall again. You don't. Well, why? If you've handled the problem, you've let it go, you've learned the lesson. Why would you need to repeat the experience? It doesn't serve you, does it? So, okay, so that's it. Program's over. So that might have saved you all kinds of pain and suffering. As you keep falling, eventually you break something, and then you're in hospital, and the whole. You don't need to now. That whole, karmic pattern that could have unfolded doesn't have to, because you've corrected it. So you've changed your life. It's not necessary anymore, that experience. So then you collapse time. When he talks about the time collapse factor of miracles, saying you cut out a whole interval of time. You might have had to go through a whole episode of falling repeatedly, going to hospital that could have taken years, and a lot of pain and suffering and drama, and you've cut that all out just by doing the correction. No. And that's what he's talking about, the time collapse factor. Save yourself a whole heap of time and effort just by doing the correction.
I truly hope that, well, I have to trust that this is going to work, because I have been falling for at least 10 years. And I've attracted this man into my life over the last 2 years. And guess what? He falls a lot.
Right.
And it's almost like it's a mirror, and it's almost like now I must start falling. And he's doing all sorts of exercises to strengthen his legs. And over the last little while, he hasn't fallen, probably for about 2 months. So it's a kind of like a healing each other once we're aware of our vulnerabilities. And I choose to take full responsibility for myself and not worry so much about him anymore. Because I am equal.
Yeah. And if you do it, you see, because you're connected, then there's a transmission to him. It's
Yes,
like on an energetic level, something transmits as well.
Yes, he's already
as well as your
losing
example.
weight. He's already cutting down his food, and he says, "Oh,
Yeah.
my tummy's going down." And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, I'm role modeling. I'm not projecting or telling him what to do. He's just starting to imitate.
Yeah. So then you lead by example. That's the most powerful way. You don't lecture or preach. You go, okay, I'm doing it. I'm walking the talk, and people will feel inspired. Okay, well, if you can do it, why can't I? You can lose weight, I can. And
Yes.
let's support each other on a journey of becoming more functional, more disciplined, more functional, upgrading ourselves. And that's a beautiful relationship. That's a holy relationship, man. Supporting each other in the growth of into higher awareness. So all
Getting younger
good.
and younger.
Yeah, all good. So well done on that little miracle. And that isn't, you said my miracle's not on the same level. Well, I mean, all miracles are, but that's actually a hugely profound. I mean, that's a 10-year pattern that you just facing and overcoming. Well, that's miraculous. The dog was just a momentary miracle. It's okay, instant. But this is a deep-seated pattern. That's profound. So yeah, well done, and please share it if you want to on the group.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yes.
Yeah. So don't you do this? You don't give yourself enough credit, do you? It's like, oh, no, it's not quite on the same level. Well, actually, again, we're talking about orders of difficulty which don't really exist. But Sally's miracle was just an instant correction of a dog. It wasn't a deep-seated pattern for her or anything. Well, maybe, but a little bit, because she'd had some fear before in dogs. But yours is, it's a program that you've been running for 10 years, which sounds like it's quite deep-seated. You've done it over and over. So you're facing that and then overcoming it. That's not trivial. That's really powerful. And you could have saved yourself today, a lot of pain and suffering in the future. You don't need to experience it now because you've corrected it. And just know it's a done deal. The miracle's done. Love is restored. You don't need to repeat the pattern. There's no value in falling anymore, is there?
Yes.
Why would you need to fall?
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense. Just hurts you. Why do you need to hurt yourself when you love? It doesn't make any sense at all. So you just let it go and say, no, I'm love. The most valuable use of my time is to be an inspired and inspiring person in the lives of the people. So you're the light of the family, and you shine the light of this higher awareness into everyone's lives, your grandchildren, your kids, your tenant, and you become that kind of rock for everyone. That's a much more valuable life, and your partner as well. It's a much more valuable use of your life than being weak, frail victim in hospital. Everyone, oh, poor, poor Christine, she's getting older, she's losing the plot, the whole story. Does that serve you? Not really. It gives you temporary sympathy, attention, but it's not the love of God. It's not what you truly want. It's not what you truly are. So
Yes,
you don't need it.
I've watched other elders going to hospital regularly, some in wheelchairs, some with walkers, and the sympathy that they engender, especially after COVID, and a lot of elderly people are on their own and left and abandoned. This is a way of getting attention and company and being noticed.
And then they use the illness for that, because they're using the illness to get the love that they feel that they're lacking. But then the problem is that it's dysfunctional, because now you have to be ill or sick to get it, which causes suffering. So this is the ego's way. It's never like just love, unconditional love and joy. No, we have to have suffering in the mix. That's how special love works.
And it's
whereas unconditional love,
unconscious. I mean, people don't do it deliberately. It's purely unconscious.
Yeah, because they haven't done this kind of inquiry. You need to do the mind training and inquiry to go through the levels and be able to see what's really going on. So if you look at Instrument for Peace, you have to go through these levels. And that's what the miracle is. You go through the levels of perception, emotion, thought, belief, to get to the core problem. My desire, right? Do I desire to be a separate self, or do I desire to be one self? That's the choice in every situation. Most people haven't done it. They don't know that actually the separate self is running the show, and they still want to be a separate self, because their beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and perceptions confirm all that. They just keep running the separate self program. So this kind of mind training undoes all that and gets you to the core beliefs. It's not comfortable, but it's hugely powerful, because you then don't need to be stuck into the limiting pattern of thought, emotion, perception, and actions that happen as a result. You've changed your mind. You've changed your life. So well done. And if you can shine this, you can spread this awareness. And look, there is a way. It doesn't matter how old you are. There is a way of doing this. Your mind hasn't, unless you're totally in dementia, if you've still got the ability to think and do that, you can do this. Anyone can do this. It's never too late.
They must go because they're leaving now. So I'm tuning out. Thank you very much.
Keep going.
Okay. Bye.
All right, you're going. Thanks, Christine. All right, everyone else. Anything else to share? Otherwise, we'll call the session to a close, I think. So I will see you. Is anyone joining later?
Yeah, I'll try and get on later again. Get my jobs done now. So
a little bit later. Yeah. Okay. Can we? I might just be spending a bit of time with my family. Can we do it half an hour later? Does that work for everyone? 5:30?
Yeah.
John?
I won't be here this evening, actually. I've got.
Not making it. Okay. All right. So yeah, join at 5:30. That just gives me half an hour extra. Join at 5:30 if you're going to join for the evening session. We're going to discuss the text reading today, which is on atonement, at-one-ment, and what's it called? It's just go here. I'll give you a quick preview of that. Page down, where are we? The atonement as defense, that one-ment as defense is what it's called. So we're going to do that this evening, and it's 7 paragraphs, not too long. Okay, so hopefully see some of you later. Thanks for joining, and namaste. Have a flowing afternoon in the meantime.
And you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
All right.
Cheers, Gemma.
Bye for now.
Cheers, Susie.
Bye.
Elaine.
Bye for now.